Welcome to the Non-Prophets. This show is brought to you by the Atheist Community of Austin. I'm the host, Jeff D. My co-hosts are Vic Farrow.
Hey.
And Mary McManamee.
Hi, folks.
And as usual, our producer is Russell Glasser.
Hello.
We also have Paul Wilson in the studio today.
Who's quiet?
Who's being quiet, which is very
but he's waving.
Yeah, he's waving. So the guy waving, that's Paul. Today's opening music was Jesus Rap by King Missile, and I need to explain something about this song. You will not find Jesus Rap by King Missile anywhere in your local music store or on the internet because that song was recorded by these three guys that I know in their dorm room about 14 years ago. And as far as I know, only a handful of cassette tapes were ever made of it. But it's an amusing little tune. These guys were the kind of pissed off people you get when you send your kids to Catholic school. And I thought that in light of the Catholic pedophilia scandal stories, it would be appropriate to play some music by some pissed off
You mean those
Catholic
stories
students.
that go on and on?
I know. Oh, and we got a bunch more of it today.
No, we don't
not
stop.
Never ending.
Anyway, we are live May 18, 2002. The Atheist Community of Austin, a non-profit educational organization promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. We have weekly meetings Sunday mornings at the Hot Jumbo Bagel Shop at 307 West 5th Street in Austin, Texas at 10:30 a.m., except for the first Sunday of each month when we have our lecture series at the Longhorn Room in Furr's Cafeteria at North Cross Mall. ACA board meetings take place at 10, right before the regular meeting on the second Sunday of every month, but the second Sunday of the month was last week, and the bagel shop, that was Mother's Day, the bagel shop closed.
Yeah,
so
big surprise.
Yeah, they didn't close last year on Mother's Day. They just
Well, the good news of that is I was in San Antonio visiting my mother,
now you
so
can
I
make
still
the
get to
board
make the meeting.
and tomorrow's board meeting will be the transitional meeting, the old board passing the torch to the new board, which is always kind of fun. Let's see. If you shop at the Randall's Food Store chain, you can give them our nonprofit organization number, 5158, and 1% of your purchases will be donated automatically to the Atheist Community of Austin. The Godless Gamers meet Monday nights at 7 p.m. at my place. ACA Happy Hour is at Antonio's near Highway 35 and 83, again in Austin, Texas, every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Okay, and for more information, you can call our voicemail at area code 512-371-2911 or visit the ACA website at www.atheist-community.org. Now I have thrown my papers on the floor.
Place for 'em.
I have a very short number of just standard announcements here. Let's get through that and then do news.
Okay.
Once again, there's the National Atheist Ombuds is an effort to get the word out about slurs, defamation, and discrimination against atheists and other non-believers. If you encounter a story like that in the U.S. media, not a story of somebody being mean to atheists, but like some news program that says
Like Star Jones's.
like or not news program, but anything in the media
remark.
where Star Jones with her comment about I'd never vote for an atheist. Maybe I'd let him watch my kids.
No, I think she even wouldn't let him do that.
She said that. She said maybe I'd let him watch my kids, but I wouldn't vote for them. What you do is you write up all the information you can about what you heard and where you heard it, and send it to ombuds@atheism.org, and they will send out that information to participating groups around the country that will distribute press releases.
And they ought to be busy after September 11th. Because all the flames come out after that.
Of course. It's all our fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Atheists wear a lot of turbans. The Fourth World Skeptics Conference will be on June 20 to 23 in Burbank, California. There's more information at www.scicop.org. That's CSICOP/events/conference-2002. And if you want, you can collect past episodes of this here audio program and also an audio version of our sister show, The Atheist Experience, which airs on public access television in Austin, Texas, on a CD. Each CD contains a full month's worth of audio from both shows in both QuickTime and MP3. We got January, February, March, and April CDs. They're $5 each, plus each one has extra stuff.
Like bonus footage.
One has has a T-shirt design, print out and iron onto a T-shirt if you want. One has, two of them have lectures by folks talking to our group.
Amanda's HMS Beagle.
Right, a paper model of Darwin's HMS Beagle. So that's a lot of fun. They're $5 each. Contact atheist@mac.com for info. And now news. Cool. And ladies first.
Okay.
Today.
All right. Well, speaking of the wackiness involved in the church sex scandal, yet again, we have a Vatican official who wants the abuse cases kept secret. He's only expressing this opinion, which is kind of surprising. He's actually being open about it.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, shh. Don't tell anybody. Yeah. I want to tell you that I don't want to tell anybody.
Well, he doesn't mind if people know what the policy is, apparently.
Yeah. His name is Father Gianfranco Girlanda. He is from Rome, obviously, the Vatican. He says that Catholic bishops should avoid telling congregations their parish priest it's a little early.
Late night, huh?
Their parish priests sexually abused someone. If the priests won't abuse again.
You know, it's really amusing. Last week we did a story on a kid who's suing a priest down in Florida, because accusing the two priests of setting up like group gay sex between priests and kids and prostituting the kids to visiting seminarians from Rome.
Oh, how horrible!
This is what you missed. So, you know,
that's
keep that in mind when you hear people from Rome talking about how it all should be hushed up.
Right. This, you know, they'll be missing out on their American booty call.
Yeah. Oh, that's sick. Yeah. Girlanda argues that a priest whose past acts of abuse were revealed to his congregation, quote, would be totally discredited in front of his parochial community, and in fact would be blocked from any effective pastoral action.
As well he should be.
And what's the problem?
That is.
Well, you know, if I say I'm sorry and I promise never to do it again, I can keep my dirty little secret and go all my life and make my money and do all that other stuff. And maybe
you know, there are certain things. It's perfectly reasonable that, you know, there are certain there's certain slack that it's perfectly reasonable to cut these people, right?
Yeah.
Like some guy has a past record of pedophilia, right? And so when he goes and works at, you know, department store, he can keep that job,
right?
As long as he's not in a toy section.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's when they want these guys to go on being in these special protected positions of dealing with children that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
That's when
that's what I don't understand if this guy is just naive about that, know, or what, or I'm feeling though it's probably what you're saying that, you know, they can't stop free from being in their clergies because of this one little issue that they have with molesting children. Oh yeah, you know,
just a little one.
Yeah,
I heard a story last week about a woman who's a Catholic woman. Her husband ran off and with another woman. And he wants to divorce her, which would mean that she can never marry again in the Catholic Church, right? And that has been declared a unforgivable sin. The remarriage after a divorce has been declared an unforgivable sin by the Catholic Church. But, you know, fondling little boys and little girls isn't.
Yeah.
They get priority straight.
Oh, man.
Go on.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's really all the article says. Although there is a man, David Clohessy, he's national director of the Chicago-based Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests.
Yeah.
He says he found it disturbing. The article appeared to be contradicting Pope John Paul II's statement at last month's Vatican Summit on sex abuse.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Pope. It's the Pope's birthday today.
Oh, that's right. 82.
Yeah, he's 82.
He looks much older.
And they have some other guy read his statement.
Yeah.
And cut cake.
He's
not doing too
well.
I mean, the guy sits in a chair with his head stooped over and twitches.
It would be, I guess what I'm saying is it would be no big surprise if there's, like, official stuff coming out from Rome that
that
disagrees with stuff that the Pope might have said. Yeah, the power plays have begun.
Yeah. I wonder what the Pope really thinks about it.
I've heard really creepy rumors about the lead candidates for the next Pope being, like, real hardline right-wingers.
Like this guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that he's a hardline. All I know is he thinks it's perfectly okay for this to all be hushed up. So, what else you got?
Well, let's see. I have got another story out of San Francisco. And this is quite interesting. The headline is that religious groups have control over religious speech in the workplace. Basically, what's going on is that this was a unanimous decision by California Supreme Court that backs a Catholic medical center's decision to fire a clerk who preached born-again Christian views.
Yeah.
You have that too?
Yeah.
Basically, the ruling stems from the case of Terrence Silo. In 1995, a Sacramento County jury ordered CHW Medical Foundation, that's his former employer, to pay him $6,305, saying that the clinic fired the clerk in violation of discrimination laws. Well, essentially, what the Supreme Court ruling says is that they did not. California, right. California Supreme Court says, no, actually they didn't violate his rights because they have a right to hire and fire whoever they want to based on their own religious convictions.
This is all very interesting. I mean, and I'm not quite sure how to think about it because while it galls me to the very idea that religious organizations get special treatment when it comes to discrimination. On the other hand, this would, if we were in California, the ACA, this would mean if we had, if we were big enough that we had employees, and one of them went around proselytizing to our atheists, we'd be able to kick him out. We have that right.
Yeah.
So it sure could come in handy. What bothers me is we're talking about a hospital.
Yeah. You know what else? Listen to this. This is kind of funny. This was actually on his termination papers.
Yeah.
It said, and this is a quote, he was being let go because of, quote, soul saving on clinic premises, unquote.
Right.
So you can,
which is, of course, stupid because we know we have a Catholic hospital right here in Austin.
Yes.
And we know how they operate. Right?
Yeah.
They broadcast prayers over their loudspeaker regularly. They're like scheduled.
Yeah.
Somebody here complained, and rumor has it that they've stopped here at least for a while. But the idea that soul saving is inappropriate on their premises is ridiculous because it's the Catholic Church.
Right.
Why is the Catholic Church in the hospital business? Well,
to save souls.
It's because, to make more Catholics, which, is the way that they would put it.
Right.
Everybody knows that when you have somebody who is distraught, right, dying, or dealing with badly
all
injured
those things
relatives or badly injured relatives, when they are, that makes them vulnerable to conversion.
Yeah.
This is exactly the kind of activity which is illegal in France now.
Oh, it is illegal.
France passed a law
proselytizing
that said proselytizing. Proselytizing is illegal, but targeting people who are vulnerable is illegal.
Cool.
Specifically targeting your proselytizing against people that are, distraught.
In the hospital or for some reason distraught.
Right. And they came up with this law to try to block, or in response to the behavior of the Church of Scientology, which you also have a story about, don't you?
I do indeed.
Can we cut to that one now?
Yes,
It'd be a great segue.
French court finds Church of Scientology guilty of breach privacy laws. And here's why. The parish chapter of the Church of Scientology says it will appeal the fine of about $7,300 and a separate fine of about $1,800 against the group's local president, Mark Walter. French prosecutors say the church harassed former members of the group long after they left the organization. And what's going on here basically is that this fine was imposed against the Church of Scientology because they violated privacy rights of former members, but threw out charges of fraud and false advertising. So there were a lot of charges that were being, heaped on the church.
That's the thing with Scientology. It's you don't know where to begin.
Yeah. But the court did not impose the strongest penalty sought by the prosecutors, that of dissolving the Paris Scientology chapter. But would consider such action if the chapter faces similar charges in the future.
That seems entirely reasonable, right?
Gave him a chance.
Say, look, we're not, you did this horrible thing. Broke these laws. We're not going to say you have to go out of business yet. We're going to give you a chance. Seems eminently reasonable.
Yeah.
But, knowing it's Scientologists, I also know it's reasonable to expect that they'll be out of business in a year or two.
I wonder.
In France.
See, this is interesting here because the church says that they are a religion, but their critics say that they're just a big con game, basically.
Well, what's the difference?
Not much.
It's a religion con game.
Right.
Yeah.
They're religious about conning people.
That's right. They con people religiously.
Yeah, here's a quote from the spokeswoman for Scientology, Gatane Athelian. She says, the court's decision represents a partial victory for the organization. Quote,
how's that?
The main accusation of fraud and false publicity was relaxed, she said. So it means...
so it's a victory.
So it means we were found not guilty of any of these accusations, which is very good for us, because the attorney of the opposition has been trying to prove for years that is what we are doing, and one more count admitted it has nothing to do with us. So basically,
it doesn't prove anything.
Yeah,
it proves that they didn't take it to court.
That's another typical Scientology strategy. Is they have 800 charges against them. One of them get dropped.
Yeah.
And they call it a victory.
Yeah.
People have their heads so far up their buttholes, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And then from the other side, Lucia Salazar, who works with a private group that is fighting Scientology, says her organization will continue its efforts to dissolve the church. Mrs. Salazar supports the new French law on sex. She says it allows victims of so-called cults.
That's S-E-C-T-S.
Yes, sex, not sex.
Right. They don't really have laws on sex in France, as far as I know.
She said it allows victims of so-called cults to fight for reparations. But some human rights organizations, religious groups, and the U.S. government have expressed concern the French law may infringe on religious freedom.
No bullshit.
Yeah.
That is the law I was talking about. The law about sects.
Right.
Is the law I was talking about. Where it's illegal now in France to specifically target people who are vulnerable to conversion. Because the time, that's the most sensible law I've ever heard. Because the time for people to make important life decisions is when they are calm and rational.
Right.
Not when they're on death's door.
Right.
Not when their mother needs a new kidney transplant or something, right?
They're emotionally distraught or something.
Right.
Like that.
When they're able to think clearly is the only time when people should be making those decisions. And if you target them any other time, you are clearly taking advantage of people who are not in a position to defend themselves.
Yeah.
With a hallmark of religion.
Law. It's a brilliant law. We ought to have it here in the U.S.
But with Bush in office, no
right.
way. And Ashcroft and everybody,
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Well, all this patriotism that suddenly blossomed after the September 11 attacks would have been, I guess that's patriotism. Let's just say the religiosity that blossomed after September 11 would have been illegal because it's all taking advantage of people's
distress,
anxiety, and distress.
Yeah.
That's right.
That would shut that down in a heartbeat, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I can't tell you how upsetting it is to me, to go in, like, we've been on the road with work, to go into these, not small towns. I mean, several places in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. I mean, there are "In God We Trust" signs all over the place.
There's "In God We Trust"
now.
signs plastered all over everything.
It just makes me so angry.
The bumper stickers are starting to fade. They've been on there so long.
Yeah.
I find that amusing. What's next?
Okay, well, let's turn to some news from the UK, shall we?
Sure.
A girl has been expelled from her Christian school because her mom's a stripper.
That's not from the UK.
Yeah.
Was it?
It is.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I'm gonna double check. I got a copy of that story. I think that's
You do?
I think that's the U.S.
Really?
I think so.
Well,
we'll do the story. I will double check my notes.
Tell me where
here.
it's from. Yeah. Okay. The link here for another UK event. So okay. Well, anyway, basically the scoop is that
maybe it's just because it's such an example of religious insanity. I'm just not used to stories like that coming from Britain.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Christina Silvas, a 24-year-old single mother, said she took the job Gold Club centerfold so she could afford the $400 monthly tuition at the church-run school. The church school is the Capital Christian Center Church. Ms. Silvas, who once worked at the church as a Sunday school teacher, says administrators told her in response to rumors a parent had gone to the club's website, downloaded pictures of her, and showed them to the school staff.
Yeah.
And Rick Cole, the head pastor of the school, says, if you choose to do the wrong thing willfully, God's word instructs me as to what my responsibility is.
Yeah.
Which is to expel this mother from...
No, the daughter.
I mean, the daughter.
Expel the daughter.
Expel the daughter from the school. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Silva said when she enrolled her daughter, she signed a statement that she would abide by the school's Christian philosophy. The pastor said that if she quit straying, she would be forgiven, and her 5-year-old daughter would be allowed to return.
Until she ran out of money and couldn't afford tuition anymore, and then got kicked out anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Until she offered to give somebody at the church.
She was willing to go and do stripping so that she could afford to put her kid through a good school.
Yeah.
And this is the thanks she's going to get.
Well, here's what makes me so mad about this, is that... Okay. Honestly, what is a parent doing on that website anyway? Unless they're just trying to instigate something.
Well, they could have heard a rumor, those things get around.
Likely,
I'm not going to immediately leap to the assumption that the person who found the
just
pictures
happened to stumble across them.
was looking for local strip joints, right?
Yeah, well,
but
either way, though, so what?
Yes, that is the answer.
What?
So what? Well, the so what is that's a Christian school, so they got these insane rules. Of course, nowhere in the Bible does it say
thou shalt not strip.
Yeah.
Right.
There are all kinds
the
of
only
things
thing that
about
I can
nudity
think
there.
of in the Bible that has anything to do with nudity is the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
Right? They eat the knowledge, and then they become ashamed of their nakedness.
Right.
So they're pissed off because this woman is not ashamed of her nakedness.
Yeah.
We aren't either, of course, if you've listened to our recent shows.
That's right.
But the strange thing is that, Adam and Eve probably didn't put on clothes because they were ashamed of their nakedness. It got cold in the damn jungle.
But here's the double standard,
okay, a little
honestly.
Humor. Very little.
And a little more humor, if I may, and this is just...
Oh, please.
Okay.
It's about nudity, therefore it's grist for comedy.
Well, I already said too, but if this mother had offered to give one of the guys, who's making these decisions a Hummer, he probably would agree to drop the whole thing.
Wait, you said that before?
Yes.
I bet you one of those guys was in that club and saw her, and that's how it got started.
Yeah.
I can't say that for sure, but I bet you something
but,
like that
it just pisses me off. Such a double standard.
Oh, yeah.
It's revolting.
Anyway.
Honestly, I don't know why she'd want her
I don't even know if there's no double standard going on. Okay? The thing is, this is what religion leads to.
Yep.
Right? Little, 4-5-year-old girl.
Yep.
Kicked out of the school.
A couple of days before she's going to graduate.
Because the mom does something for a living that they don't like.
Yeah.
Stupid. Right? If they read the whole frickin' book, literally, then, they should be kicking out people whose moms or dads work at Red Lobster. Because you're not supposed to eat shellfish, according to the other parts of the Testament. So, it's completely stupid. Completely stupid from the beginning. Okay, next.
Yep. Britney Spears should purge her sins.
Should she?
She can go in my house and purge some sins if she likes.
Oops, she did again.
That's all about.
What you would say.
Yeah, this is her local church in Louisiana has urged her to seek forgiveness for her sins.
What do you mean her little church? It's a church in where she came from?
Yeah.
Or did she actually go to the church?
No, it was, that's not real clear in the article, but it sounds like it was the church she actually went to.
All right. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
The singer's squeaky clean image has been ruined by reports of her smoking, underage drinking, and having lost her virginity to Justin Timberlake.
She's over 21.
I know. And another example this is a perfect example of so what. Church leaders.
She didn't lose her virginity to me.
Bob Sheffield from the Southern Baptist Convention said, I would have preferred it if she wore more clothes and she waited and had sex after marriage.
Who's asking you?
Right. Jesus will forgive her.
You would have preferred it?
Yeah.
You know, I prefer it if when I went into a movie theater, I didn't have to see that stupid Pepsi commercial with her dancing and quote singing,
Well,
unquote, on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Plug your ears, that's a damn good commercial.
That's what I prefer, but so what? I have no authority over her life, and neither does this decade.
No. And I think her video is brilliant, where she looks like a Catholic schoolgirl. I think it just totally enrages everybody, because, you know, it's playing into that stereotype that, well...
No. Do we want to be playing up the stereotype that Catholic schoolgirls are hot to trot?
No, we don't.
No. That is the stereotype that the pedophile priests are trying to play up to excuse themselves.
For 5 minutes and you missed out on it.
No, I'm sorry, I should rephrase that. I don't mean that we condone sex with underage Catholic schoolgirls. But what I am saying is that this is what the people who are upset are upset about. They're upset about her sexuality. They're upset about the fact that she is wearing, in their opinion, too few clothes.
And it's none of their business.
And it's not.
She's not covered from ankle to
Yeah,
wrist.
she's not wearing a burqa. So.
Yeah. So.
Well, there you go. All right, moving right along.
Okay. And prostitutes have banned sinful oral sex.
Sinful oral sex?
Yes, this is
that's not a bunch of those.
I know.
Is there non-sinful oral sex?
I don't know. It says prostitutes in a Romaine town are giving up oral sex because they say it's a sin.
Bad teeth are hard. Let's go.
Read the rest of the thing.
Okay. They took the decision after attending a church service in Honidora. I'm sorry.
Well, there's their problem. They attended
Romania.
a church service.
Yep.
Yeah.
Attended a church service, lost half their profits in one day.
Yep. One of the prostitutes, named only as Mirella E., told the Libertatea newspaper, quote, after we went to church, we thought about how big sinners we are. Even if we can't give up what we are doing, at least we can try to be more religious and give up perversities, unquote. They said...
Prostitution is still
okay, where in the Bible, where in the Bible is the oral sex bit? Anybody ever heard of this?
No,
I've never heard of it.
Not that I give a flying hoot what's in the Bible, but, you know...
Well, you know, the closest they could come
if
to
that's what they're gonna...
Onan, so...
God... Yeah, God, oh, man.
And there's nothing in Onan about masturbation.
The whole Onan thing, right. The whole Onan thing is God pissed off because he wanted Onan's brother to impregnate Onan's deceased brother's widow.
Right.
To carry on the lineage or something. And Onan thought that would be wrong. And so God killed him.
Yeah. Oh, anyway.
He pulled out, God smacked him dead.
His own ads.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
So, but where's the oral sex bit?
Well...
What is that?
I don't know.
It's a perversity.
Yeah, maybe
that's it. It's not straight mission position sex with the light off, takes 2 minutes, and you go back and roll over.
But that doesn't see that anywhere in the stupid religious book.
No, but, you know, this has been handed down. They think that's what it means.
All right.
So that's what it means.
And they say they won't change their minds, even if it means clients will, quote-unquote, solve their problems in a neighboring town because, quote, perversity is such a big sin.
Yeah, right.
Unquote. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the market just moved to another location.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to drive a little further to get your knob job. All right.
All right. Are we going to do this one?
Why don't y'all do so?
All right.
And I'll come back.
Let's go to Vic.
I'll come back.
Victor, what do you have for us today?
A city hall in Frederick, Maryland has received a letter from a high school senior challenging the constitutionality of the Ten Commandments monument in the Frederick Memorial Park. The Frederick Legal Office sided with Blake Trentian, the 18-year-old Urbana High School senior, who argued in his April 16th letter that federal courts in jurisdictions found identical monuments violated the Constitution.
Yeah.
This is the exact same monument that's on the Capitol here in Texas.
Oh.
The exact same one.
It's another one of these.
By the Fraternal Order of Eagles.
Right.
They donated a bunch of them in the 50s.
Why? Because of money that they got from Cecil B. DeMille, who was promoting his new film, The Ten Commandments. So these are these advertising
city attorneys.
slogans.
The city attorneys have assured the mayor and the Frederick Board of Aldermen that the city would lose a lawsuit over the monument. The Seventh Court of Appeals recently ruled that displaying the Ten Commandments on government property violated the First Amendment prohibition against state-established religion. The Fourth Circuit Court, which covers the Frederick County, likely would rule the same. Mayor Jennifer Doherty said that she didn't want to pick a fight with the religious groups, but the issue must be resolved, and the city must uphold the Constitution.
There you go.
Yeah. But Bob Tansey, 79, chairman of the Frederick County Christian Coalition, wrote in an email to the mayor, quote, "It is unthinkable and unbelievable that such a request would even be considered. This is outrageous, and it is an insult to the veterans being honored in the park." Yeah, let's take advantage of some dead veterans to...
Whoa. What veterans are being honored by a Ten Commandments monument? No. What? Yeah, okay. But that park will still be there.
Yes.
It will still be
commemorating
the guys.
Yeah.
The Ten Commandments is not about any American veterans who ever lived.
Nope.
Well, further, Tansey, who was further outraged to learn that an 18-year-old high school student had initiated the debate. He says, "I think it is absolutely absurd that we should listen to this 18-year-old.
Depends what he's saying.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's ever voted, and I doubt he pays taxes." Well, you don't know because
What
you
does that have to do with it?
No, it has nothing to do with it.
Attention that the Constitution
Even
says
if he
can't have the
hasn't
monument.
voted, he's 18. He probably hasn't gotten the opportunity yet, so that's irrelevant. And whether or not he pays taxes is dependent upon whether he holds a job. If he's in school, probably not. But his parents did.
Yeah. It's just astonishing the way these people will grasp at anything that vaguely looks like a straw in order to try to oppose these efforts.
Yep.
They have no case.
Sorry
Yes,
to mention something unrelated, but I just got mentioned it was just mentioned in the chat room that people who could not get an Atheist Network before can now.
Oh, good.
And as you can see, I'm there now.
Hooray.
And how many people we have in our chat room today? I want to extend a thank you to the folks that are in the chat room. There's a decent number in there. Hi, guys. And also anybody extend a welcome to anybody who's listening to our show not in the chat room, either live or at some time in the foreseeable future, and especially anybody coming from the Alt Atheism News Group, which is an incredibly cool bunch of guys that I keep advertising at.
Tell your friends, tell your relatives, tell your mother, tell everybody. Come listen.
Russell, you don't know who's listening other times? No. Shush. And as like Vic said, we want to get our listenership up. So anybody that you know who you think might enjoy listening to this, direct them to the ACA website where they can listen to the past episodes anytime at their convenience, if logging in for the live show isn't convenient for them. And let's get the word out there, because we are here to serve the public.
No, we're going to become wildly popular and dominate. No. Anyway, back to priests. We got one more story about a priest.
Yeah. No, you got one more.
I got one more story about a priest. In Baltimore, a priest was shot and seriously wounded outside his home by a man who accused him of abuse 9 years ago.
Yeah, okay, now this isn't funny.
No, it's not funny, but it happened.
Yeah, can I go on record here?
What?
Folks, don't shoot priests. The last thing we need is for a big sympathy vote to come out, right? I mean, people go overboard. That it is enough that the Catholic Church is being hit where it counts, which is financially. That is enough.
Right.
Okay? There's no need for physical violence, no need for vandalism, no need for going overboard on any of this stuff.
However,
they are in deep doo-doo. And the only thing that will come from people going over the line in attacking them or lashing out or fighting back is that they will get sympathy.
However, there's anger that builds up inside a victim.
I know.
And sometimes that is not able to, if you can't get justice, and that anger keeps on going, you're going to have no way of releasing it. It's going to explode at some point. That's what seems to have happened here.
People who are in that position, whatever I say isn't going to change their minds anyway.
Yeah,
I'm talking to everybody else.
Dante Strokes, who's 26, surrendered Monday night and said he shot the Reverend Maurice Blackwell after the priest refused to talk to him. Strokes said that Strokes was charged with attempted murder.
Stokes, isn't it?
Stokes, yeah.
Yeah, not Strokes.
Stokes Stokes was charged with attempted murder, gun violations, and assault and was being held without bail. Blackwell, 56, was in serious but stable condition at University of Maryland's Shock Trauma Center, and his family declined to talk to reporters. In 1993, the church concluded that Stokes' claim of being molested by Blackwell as a teenager were not credible. However, the priest has been on involuntary leave since 1998 because of allegations leveled by another alleged victim. So,
very sad.
He turned the guy in. Nothing happened to him. Got away with it. Yeah. He goes on for years with this, anger built up inside of him. And what his mother was saying was that he was looking for an apology.
Yeah.
He went to Blackwell looking for an apology. The priest
refused.
Just disregarded him altogether. Of course, he went to the police with a .357 loaded in his bag. Or went to the with a .357 loaded in his bag. So, he was going to give an apology one way or the other. Okay, well, let's lighten up the mood some.
I got one.
You do?
I'm going to lighten up.
All right.
This is out of Brazil. An election official in Brazil has tried to sue Jesus Christ for breaking presidential election rules.
Huh? Really? How's that?
Well, maybe not literally, but Judge Wellington Carvalho Coelho, who upholds election law, filed a complaint in the city of Rio Branco. He complained about a car sticker saying, "Jesus Christ, the best way forward." Candidates for October presidential election aren't allowed to start displaying stickers and posters until July.
Yeah.
The judge in charge of the case, and I'm not making her name up, Eva Evangelista, dismissed the case. She told Terra Noticias Populares she's aware Jesus Christ isn't a candidate.
That was pretty bizarre.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Well, there are 40 schools, spearheaded by the Christian Fellowship School in Liverpool, who want a law in Britain changed to allow them to have corporal punishment.
Oh, no.
This is, remember our
from last
we talked
week.
about this book.
Did you listen to last week's show?
I didn't.
We went over that book.
Where was I? I don't know what I was
doing.
doing.
Were taking.
We reviewed
defensive driving. Yeah.
We reviewed a book.
Talked about it on the TV show. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's right. But we reviewed a book last week on our show called "Shepherding a Child's Heart," which is a fundamentalist Christian guide to child rearing.
Child beating.
One of the most, it's basically about a big book of excuses for why it's okay to beat your kids.
Yeah. Oh, and I love the cover of it, too. It's got this adult hand reaching out to the little child hand, and these warm and fuzzy sheep in the background.
Right. And it's all about smacking your kids around.
Yeah.
So what is this? What do these guys in Britain want?
They claim that corporal punishment is a part of a religious doctrine protected by the European Convention on Human Rights. Their attempt to challenge legislation banning smacking in schools by claiming that it did not apply to the independence was rejected by the High Court last year. Christian schools view corporal punishment of an unruly child as a part of a biblical mandate, said Paul Diamond, representing the schools. Corporal punishment was a doctrine advocated in the Bible and was thus part of the ethos of evangelical schools. He told this to the court. So that case will come again.
Man.
They're going to, I think next week they're going to go ahead with this.
That's the one thing I still can't get, even reading, the excerpts from Shepherd Child's Heart, is what is the benefit of beating your children?
Submission. You beat them into submission.
I talked to Ginny about this, and I think what it comes down to in the end is that you want to prepare your kids to be terrified of authority figures so that they will be a good little terrified of God Christian. Would you say that's accurate?
That probably plays a role.
I think that is the ultimate point of smacking your kids around. It's not...
I think there are 2 points.
Yeah.
There is the point that there's the selling point of the book, and then there is the ulterior motive of the book. I think the ulterior motive of the book is to get parents to indoctrinate their kids as forcefully as they can. Mm-hmm. I think that is the ulterior motive. But I think the selling point of the book is it's a big book of excuses for why it's okay to haul off and smack your kids. Parenting, I'm led to understand, not having any kids of my own, is a oftentimes frustrating business. and you may want to smack your kids around, and this book gives you a bunch of excuses to do it. It's just that it gives you those excuses in a context that makes you present it as indoctrination.
Yeah.
And so the religion benefits when you follow their set of excuses, because what are you doing? You're forcing your little kids to be Christians.
Yeah. Well,
but not all Christian parents beat their children.
Of course, we're talking fundamentalists in most
right,
most
and these
cases,
are people who are advocating
really
strongly to where if you deny your child the rod, you are sinning against God.
Yeah.
That kind of mentality.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, just to show you that all religious pedophilia is not limited to the Catholic Church.
Oh,
in Macon, Georgia,
No.
the leader of a religious group known as the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors, Dwight York and his founder Dwight York and his partner Kathy Jones are seeking bail on federal charges alleging they transported minors across state lines for sex beginning in 1993. It gets worse. The groups that settled in Seattle, Central Georgia, FBI agents testified that the three children told her they were forced to perform oral sex and other acts with York, 56, and Johnson, 33. The children's ages, 4, 6, and 8 at the time, were photographed and videotaped engaged in sexual acts and posing in sexually explicit positions. 4, 6, and 8. Little children.
Yeah.
Word said witnesses told also investigator. Well, they got this backwards. Witnesses also told investigators that 30 to 35 children aged 4 to 18 were molested. She said York brought some children to the compound from New York. He also took 15 to 20 trips to Disney World in Florida over the past 4 years, taking minors with him and abusing them there.
Yeah.
Whoa. Abusing them at Disney World.
Yes.
Like at
Disney World.
Yes.
It's like they're walking, 1 minute they're walking down the sidewalk.
No, probably at the
waved at by
hotel.
Probably at the hotel, yeah.
Yeah, likely
Okay,
at the hotel.
so 1 hour they're walking down the sidewalk being waved at by Mickey Mouse. And the next minute, this is going on.
Yeah.
Yes. What a way to remember Disney World. The United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors is a predominantly black quasi-religious group. The compound features a 6-story pyramid and large bearing Egyptian-style hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
In some Nuwaubian literature...
That sounds like a bad Mel Brooks.
You have not heard of the best yet.
York has been referred to as the group's savior and god, and described as an extraterrestrial from the planet Rizq.
Oh, no.
Which is the best we can do with this word. R-I-Z-Q.
That is his home world.
His planet Rizq is where the leader is from.
Yikes.
Just bizarre.
Warren said the children compound were separated from their parents at an early age, with visitation dictated by York. He also controlled devotees' money, food, and clothing, dictated where they lived and how they could, when they could enter and leave the compound. Men and women did not talk or have sex without his permission.
Ew.
The children who were abused were treated more specially than the children who weren't involved in sexual activities in New York. Yeah, they got little special treatments. They were the little prize children because he was doing things to them. Okay.
Yikes.
He faces 4 counts of sexual exploitation with minors. The maximum penalty for each count is 15 years and $250,000. Johnson's only facing 1 charge. But 4 counts, if he gets all 4 counts, he'll never leave to prison. And he can try to be a Nuwaubian in prison and see what it gets him. Yeah, a Nuwaubian short eyes is still short eyes. Louisville, Kentucky. A woman said she and her husband had been excommunicated from the Jehovah's Witnesses after speaking out against the church's handling of their daughter's alleged sexual abuse.
Yes.
Now, if those of you have been... I'm sorry, you want to bring
Yeah,
up?
we did that one.
We talked about another case.
In Canada.
Yeah.
Right?
That I don't remember.
That was the family where the daughter needed blood transfusions.
Yep.
And the father violated the Jehovah's Witnesses rules by saying, "Yeah, go ahead and give him blood transfusions." So now the daughter hates him.
Yeah.
And because they believe that letting other people's blood into
the whole
their body.
family has.
I'm starting there.
Okay.
The Jehovah's Witnesses believe that if you'll have somebody else's body mingle with yours, that you're going straight to hell. And the entire family has and the entire religion has excommunicated them, and they are shunned. No Jehovah's Witnesses allowed to talk to them.
Jehovah's Witnesses are busy shunning people because Barbara and Carl Pendello of Belmar, New Jersey, had been awaiting a decision since Monday when the Judicial Committee of the church met in Jersey to consider ousting them, a practice which the denomination terms disfellowshipping. I guess we have our terms, they have their terms. They are among 4 Jehovah's Witnesses threatened with disfellowship for sowing discord in the faith by speaking out against the church. You cannot speak out against the church, even when they're wrong.
Right.
One of them, William Bowen, a 44-year-old former church elder from Draftonville, Kentucky, has complained that child sex allegations are generally not reported to secular authorities by the Jehovah's Witnesses because of the church's closed nature and insistence on handling problems internally. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gee.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah. The Pendellos' dispute with the denominations dates to 1988 when their 12-year-old daughter said she was molested by her paternal grandfather, also a member of the faith.
Yeah.
Grandfather has returned to the denomination.
Yuck. Basically, they're protecting it.
It's the Catholics all over again.
Yeah.
They're doing the same damn thing.
Sick.
Anybody here ever read any early American history? Do you know why we stopped having kings and lords and nobility and shit? It's the same kind of crap, right?
Yeah.
It's special protected classes that want to be immune from the standard rules that apply to everybody, right? Used to be, we stopped having kings and lords and stuff when we found the United States, and now these churches, because of their special treatment, are expecting the same kind of thing, right?
And we need to stop. They have a divine right to that special treatment.
We need to stop giving them special treatment, same way we stopped giving nobility special treatment.
Yeah, that's right. Because that's really what
200 years too late, but let's do it.
All right. Well.
See, and that's the irony, is that why is it that we don't question that in the same, I'm not saying we don't sitting around this table, but why is it that the people who are believers in the faith don't question it
Because
more?
they're taught from the beginning, like this is, you don't question the church. If you question the church, you can be ousted, you can be shunned.
But why torture yourself? It would be good to be shunned.
Jeff Jones just said, is it really punishment to be shunned by the Jehovah's
Witnesses?
It's probably a good thing.
Does that mean that they're not going to keep knocking on my door all the time?
Jeff. The thing is, these are their own family is all Jehovah's Witnesses, so it basically means being kicked out of your family.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that. Even if you don't get along with them all that well, you don't want to have the completely cut off.
Like the father being cut off from his daughter, as well as the whole
There's no
member
difference
of the congregation.
There's no difference between casting on your own family in favor of the church than there is between this woman I saw on TV the other day who, to prove her love to her abusive boyfriend, allowed him to have sex with her 9-year-old daughter. To prove how much she loved him. She did this one. Now they're both sitting in jail. But, this entire family turned against you because they chose their religion over their blood.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what parallel you're drawing there, but it's creepy no matter how you look at it. All right. What else we got?
That's it? That's it for me.
Okay.
All right. Well, here's what I got.
All right.
Patrick Henry College, the Purcellville-based Christian college founded 2 years ago primarily for formerly homeschooled students, has been denied accreditation by a national group because it requires professors to sign a statement of faith, including that they will teach creationism.
Ew.
The college of about 150 students, which will graduate its first class this month, is appealing the decision by the American Academy for Liberal Education, a private group approved by the U.S. Department of Education to accredit liberal arts colleges.
Wait, stop right there. What would happen, do you think, if Bush gets in here with his faith-based initiative programs? What if then the U.S. Department of Education, for some reason, starts allowing this kind of thing to go on, where they would be allowed to go ahead and become accredited, even though they refuse to teach?
I'm not sure how that relates
evolution.
To the faith-based initiative, because that's all about giving money out.
Right, but
right. I'm sure that this college is hoping that they'll get some federal dollars.
Right.
But that has nothing to do with accreditation.
Well, but it could, though, if someone...
There are plenty of accreditation mills out there, right? There are plenty of organizations who are willing to go ahead and accredit colleges for all kinds of insane stuff.
Yeah. That
fundamentalists are using all the time. These guys wanted to look kind of credible by getting accredited by an organization that is approved by the U.S. Department of Education. Let me finish the story.
Okay, go ahead.
At issue is the school's statement of biblical worldview, in which professors agreed all courses will be taught with the understanding God created the world in 64-hour days. In a letter, Academy President Jeffrey D. Wallen told Patrick Henry that the statement conflicts with the requirement that, quote, liberty of thought and freedom of speech are supported and protected, bound only by such rules as of civility and order as to facilitate intellectual inquiry and the search for truth. Those are the standards of the American Academy of Liberal Education. Right? They're saying by forcing your professors to sign this statement that they will teach everything from the premise that God created the world in 6 24-hour days, you are stepping all over their intellectual freedom.
Right.
Patrick Henry President Michael P. Ferris said, quote, it took us by total surprise. Apparently, there are some AALE board members whose views on diversity just simply do not allow them to believe that someone who believes in creationism should be in the big tent of academic freedom.
Oh, come off it.
And that's a hideous twist of the situation, right?
Yeah.
Because they're the guys with a statement you have to sign if you're going to work there, limiting the views of the American Academy for Liberal Education, I'm sure, would be entirely happy to accredit a college that happened to have some young Earth creationists among its professors.
But not if you have to sign a statement.
Right, exactly. And this guy has the gall to accuse them of attacking academic freedom.
Well, that's part of that whole plan of attacking mainstream academia by calling it a conspiracy.
Right. Sure.
The young earthers and the intelligent design people do this frequently. Behe made claims all the time that the reason that this discord amongst biologists disagreeing with evolution is kept quiet is because there's this big conspiracy to keep that kind of talk it doesn't exist, but in their minds it does.
There's a really good article recently on the infidels.org website about the wedge strategy 3 years later, because we've read the wedge strategy.
Don't you tell our listeners what that is for those folks?
The wedge strategy is a position paper that was put out by some creationist institute, like I think CRSC or something like that. And it basically said, okay, here's our strategy for sneaking in the creationism into the public schools, making it generally accepted science. And it came in 3 phases, and phase 1 was like really short. It's do research.
Well, actually, and the one phase out of all the stuff that their wedge strategy promotes to do, the only thing they haven't actually done is the research.
Right. Well, okay. Phase 2 is like heavily campaign. I mean, do all sorts of public relations stuff. Try to get it appearing in a major university. They had this list of goals.
Incredible.
And they were supposed to have all this review by 5 years later. So this article looks at it and says, where's the research? It's been 3 years, guys. They haven't done anything. And there was William Dembski tried to get a foundation set up at his college, and that didn't work. They basically... and here's something really funny. They published a paper that listed like 40 scientific papers that had appeared in reviewed journals that supported intelligent design. So another organization sent out surveys to each person whose paper was listed, saying, do you know that you are appearing on this list, and do you agree that your paper supports their point of view? Not one of them agreed that they should be on there. All 40 of them they were being misrepresented. And that's been the extent of their scientific research element.
misrepresenting 40 papers by other guys.
And
that's astonishing.
They misquote people all the time. They'll take and trim off the last section of some paragraph, and then make this sound like it said something. That the scientist was saying something that he wasn't really saying.
What was that I was saying earlier about grasping at straws?
Yeah. Well, this is just downright deceitful. It's an agenda. And
it was downright deceitful of that guy who attacked the high school kid, saying, "Oh, we shouldn't listen to him because he's 18."
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything, dude.
Yeah, it was a way to
that's dishonest.
redirect.
Yeah.
Right. Japanese faith doctor given death penalty.
What?
Oh, yeah, this is
a Japanese faith healer was sentenced to death for beating 6 people to death with a stick during a 1995 exorcism ritual.
Oh, no.
This is in Japan.
He beat the devil out of them and their lives as well.
Fukushima District Court in northern Japan also sentenced 3 followers of 54-year-old Sachiko Ito to prison terms for their roles in the killings. Court official Naoki Doi said Friday. Doi declined to discuss details of the rulings, but Kyoto News Agency said Hara cited their responsibility for beating believers to death on the pretext of religious acts. Ito and the 3 associates killed the 6 people and injured 1 while performing the rites at Sachiko's home in Sukagawa, 100 miles north of Tokyo. The group dealt out drumstick beatings from late December 1994 to June 1995, allegedly to exorcise evil spirits. And if you've ever seen the koto drummers from Japan, we're not talking little band drumsticks.
Yeah.
These are like mallets.
Yeah, I've seen them. Ugh.
And he beat him with those.
Yep. To drive out evil spirits, which of course don't exist.
And people helped him do this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a whole
like
help
held
thing.
him down.
I guess so. Doesn't say exactly what the helper's role consists of.
So
Okay.
what is his death penalty? What do they do in Japan?
I don't know. I don't know how they kill people in Japan. But
Seppuku.
something. Yeah, they stare at him until he cuts his tummy. I don't know. I don't know. Ruling bans singing the Lord's Prayer at graduation from Des Moines, Iowa. The Woodbine Community High School choir will not be allowed to sing the Lord's Prayer at the school's graduation ceremony this month. A federal judge ruled on Friday, declaring that this is not a situation where the majority may rule.
Right on, dude.
U.S. District Judge Charles Wall said the song cannot be rehearsed nor performed as long as sophomores Donovan and Ruby Scarron, 14-year-old twins who are choir members, remain in the Eastern Iowa school. The students testified that they are offended by having to perform a religious song. Ben Stone, executive director of the Iowa Civil Liberties Union, which sued on behalf of the students and their parents, Donald and Christine Scarron, said the judge's ruling doesn't mean the song can't be performed after the Scarron children graduate.
Oh, that's a punk-ass decision.
Yeah, it bothers me a little bit. It would seem the Constitution would still be enforced even if everybody there unanimously wants it to be divided. But, still a step in the right direction. Quote, that the majority of the students, choir members, and parents want the Lord's Prayer to be part of the program is not backed in constitutional analysis. Our Constitution prohibits compelled religious conformance, said Judge Wall. In his ruling, Wall said he believes a tape recording of the January 17 school meeting, was erased because it contained statements such as, "We are Christians and lawyers be damned," barred by board members who want the song performed.
That's terrifying.
And our Constitution is also supposed to protect from tyranny and majority.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have to say something. I don't know if it specifically relates to the story that well, but a lot of people get hypersensitive about music. About Christianity in schools, even to the point where they say that you shouldn't allow songs with religious overtones be sung in chorus class.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that because a lot of the really good old music is God-based, and it would sort of be like studying architecture, I think, and not allowing you to look at cathedrals.
Well, I disagree because to me, like at least in this case, it's more like the issue of prayer at the football field.
It's different. I
mean,
I think if you're representing school by the song,
right.
Yeah, the difference is you could sing these songs in a music class. There would be nothing wrong with that. To have them sung at places where, like a graduation, an assembly, where this is some kind of a compulsory thing, then you've stepped over the line. Because in the choir class, if you don't sing them, you simply don't sing them.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's not that simple, unfortunately.
Right. But again, the Christians have this idea that since they are in the minority, it's their country, and everybody else should just sit back, shut up, and be tolerant. Just let us run you over with our religion.
Yeah,
but don't say a word about it because you're in the minority. Well,
yeah, Russell, you're not wrong because you're bringing up something that is not directly pertinent to the story. You're wrong because you're just wrong.
I'm not.
The thing is, the same objection I had to this judge saying, well, as soon as these atheist kids or non-Christian kids are out of the school, they can go back to doing their religious songs. That, in effect, he is saying the Constitution only applies when people want it to, right? And that is not the way it works. And so to say that because there happened to exist this body of songs, the messages in which are constitutional violations if you require kids to sing them in schools. I mean, it's unfortunate that
you do not think that high school choirs should be allowed to sing Handel's Messiah, for instance?
I am of the opinion that the purpose to religious songs, to the entire body of religious songs that are available, is ritual. That is the purpose.
I don't think you've listened to enough classical music.
I have listened to a lot of classical music. I think the entire purpose of those messages is indoctrination and ritual. And that is exactly what is happening when you have kids sing the songs. Now,
I would even say that
it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
What?
Go ahead.
It's entirely possible to study music without performing those songs or without obligating kids to perform those songs. I don't have a problem with studying with studying religious music any more than I have a problem with the study of the role of religion in history.
I'm not talking about studying it. I'm talking about singing it. I mean, there is a lot of great work out there that, it would be like studying history and pretend that there wasn't any Christianity involved in it.
No, requiring students to perform these songs is like requiring students to operate gas chambers. I know I'm going way over the line here. This is my point. Requiring the students to act out a particular historical activity. That is not required to learn history, and I don't see how it's required to learn music.
Well, here's an example. What if a school was requiring students to participate in the school musical, which happened to be The Sound of Music? That musical has a lot of religious themes and ideology, and of course, it's also about World War II.
Is it voluntary, or are you obligating students?
We'll say it's voluntary. If there was a school,
I have no problem with that.
Well, what's the difference, though? Because students are still being exposed to either way. I mean, just like if in a school...
When something is truly voluntary, it's entirely clear that you truly have the option not to participate if you don't want to, and any chance of the ritual nature of the performance resulting in indoctrination is severely limited. I think reasonably limited.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Jeff Jones.
What does Jeff Jones say?
Jeff Jones agrees with me. He says, It is virtually impossible to study serious music without studying religious music.
I have
the
never...
very beginning of Western music was religious.
I have never said that that it shouldn't be studied, right? Just like I have no problem with studying the role of religion in history. There's a difference between study and obligating children to perform songs which are fundamentally...
You can't study songs without having a performance of it of some sort. You can't just read the note on the page and get the impression of what the music is like. It's not possible.
But you have to question, though.
We're not talking about them listening to an album, right? We're talking about these kids were required to perform religious songs.
I agree with Jeff D on this one.
I think the line is whether they require.
We let them filk songs.
That would be amusing.
What?
Paul was suggesting we should allow students to change the words of songs.
Okay.
Well,
if they want to.
If you're singing in a choir class and it's a voluntary class, and you have the option of opting out of that song if you don't like it, then it's not a problem really. But holding an assembly and requiring everybody at that assembly who has to be there to sing this particular song because they want to promote school spirit through this religious music, there you cross line there.
I agree with you there.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
For example,
to say that because Okay. Let's move on.
Through the night with the light from a bug. That's how you could alter one of the Bless America songs. Okay.
Who remembers Chief Justice Roy Moore? We talked about this guy pretty much every show.
He sings a couple.
Refresh my memory.
Okay, this is the dickweed in Alabama who snuck a group into the state courthouse to the Ten Commandments monument recently.
No.
Who was getting videotape of that. What?
Didn't he want to have them posted in public schools?
Probably.
Okay.
This is the guy who was closely associated with a TV evangelist and went on their cruise with him, and videotapes of his illegal setting up of the Ten Commandments monument are being sold by this religious group and all this crap. And this is the guy who there was a abusive father and a mother who has just decided that she's a lesbian. And they split up, and they're deciding where the kids go.
Yeah.
The kids need to go with the abusive father because because homosexuality is sinful.
Oh.
It's that guy.
Okay.
Christians hailed Alabama Supreme Court Chief Justice Roy Moore as a hero who dares to stand behind his beliefs while people of other religions and gay rights groups deride him as a tyrant who abuses the power of law. Two groups, totaling about 400 people, and speaking of Jeff Jones, who's on the chat room, he told me he spoke with someone who was at this event. 300 of those 400 people, the article does not say, were anti-Judge Moore. Right? So it was heavily balanced against him. They faced off at two simultaneous rallies last Saturday afternoon at the state capitol of Alabama. They clashed over Moore, who snuck a washing machine-sized monument of the Ten Commandments into the Alabama Supreme Court building and recently called homosexuality an inherent evil in a court opinion. Quote, "We are here to honor a modern-day hero," said Kelly McGinley, chairman of the We the People rally and a radio talk show host from Mobile. "We live in a time where everything is turned upside down. The world freaks out over Moore." Atheists, gay groups, and other religions said Moore should be removed from office because he routinely violates the doctrine of separation of church and state. They said Moore spreads bigotry and intolerance by promoting Christianity over all other religions. Quote, "We can't have anyone go out and single out a group of people. We don't want another Hitler," said Derek Harrington, 20, of the Birmingham area gay, straight, and lesbian youth. "I don't think he needs to be using the Bible to do his job. He needs to use the law." Well, that seems like a very sensible thing to say, considering the guy is a judge and not a minister. The events were peaceful, except for a few shouting matches. The only time groups spoke in unison was to the Pledge of Allegiance, but that too caused disagreement. Moore's supporters emphasized one nation under God, but his opponents shouted, "with liberty and justice for all," leaving out the one nation under God does not belong. At one point, Robert Reed of Victory Baptist Church in Mobile confronted local chapters of American Atheists, but he was shouted down with chants of "evil, evil, evil." It's the atheists
shouting evil,
evil at this Baptist creep. "I was showing them that God loves them, but I was also showing them that if they reject Jesus Christ as their Savior, they will spend eternity in hell."
That's what
Reed said.
BC stands for.
Huh?
Baptist creep.
Moore was elected Chief Justice after waging a court fight against the ACLU to keep a Ten Commandments plaque in his courtroom in Gadsden, where Moore used to be a circuit judge. In August, he placed a 2.5-ton stone monument of the commandments in the Judicial Building's library. In March, Moore wrote that a woman was an unfit mother because she was homosexual. He said homosexuality is an inherent evil against which children must be protected. No, you know what? Catholicism is an inherent evil, apparently, against which children must be protected.
Abusive fathers.
Abusive fathers. The Southern Poverty Law Center, the American Civil Liberties Union, and Americans United for the Separation of Church and State have sued Moore over the monument. Quote, "Let the Christians call all the events they want, but we are still a democracy here," said Ray Kingsley of Atlanta, who was wearing a sign that said, "Say no to Judge Moore's fascism." So there we go. Remember the story of the Ugandan rebels, the Lord's Resistance Army? These are the guys.
Is that from last week?
No, I think before that.
Okay.
These are the guys that caught a group of mourners and forced them to cook and eat the body.
Yes.
And the Lord's Resistance Army wants to set up a Ten Commandments based government in Uganda.
No.
Okay. Well, we have more of them.
No.
Yes. First, ask yourself once again, what is forcing some mourners from an ethnic group you don't like to kill and eat? To cook and eat. Did I say kill?
Yeah.
Cook and eat the body of the person they are mourning. How that fits in with the Ten Commandments? Well, the answer is there's no commandment against it. Ugandan rebels killed more than 470 Sudanese civilians.
Wait a minute. What about thou shalt not kill?
That's thou shalt not murder, young lady. It's not murder because it's war.
Oh, no.
Right.
Ugandan rebels killed more. And besides, the guy was already dead. Oh, but they killed the people that ate the body afterwards.
Yep,
they were sinners because they were cannibals. They had to kill him. Please let me tell her. The Ugandan rebels killed more than 470 Sudanese civilians, raping and abducting girls and women, and burning the 6 villages in a week of violence. The Roman Catholic Church in southern Sudan charged in a statement received by the So now note that it's the Catholic Church in Uganda that's complaining about these Ugandan rebels. Insurgents of the Lord's Resistance Army committed the alleged atrocities as they fled an offensive by Ugandan troops, the church's diocese in southern Sudan said in the statement dated Thursday. The rebels also torched 6 villages as they were fleeing a raid by the Ugandan People's Defense Forces on their bases in the southern Sudan town of Katayr, the statement said. In a separate statement dated Friday, the church said the Lord's Resistance Army had raided 3 villages in the Agui county of eastern Equatoria, the same area of eastern Equatoria on Wednesday. The rebels killed an unknown number of men, stripped girls naked, and forced them to drink their own urine before raping them and taking away. Quote, "The men and boys were all brutally killed publicly, whereas young girls between 5 and 16 were defiled before their parents," the priest added. The Lord's Resistance Army, which launched its insurgency in 1988, says it wants to oust the government of President Yoweri Museveni and replace it with an administration based on the 10 Commandments of the Bible. It's funny, you know?
Chapters of Joshua, apparently.
Because you'd think if the 10 Commandments of the Bible were clear, then there wouldn't be any problem between these rebels and the Catholic Church. Apparently, the 10 Commandments are not quite the clear rules of behavior that they want to think. Did we already wish the Pope a happy 82nd?
No, we didn't.
Happy 82nd birthday.
The Pope.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he runs an evil criminal organization, but I don't see any reason to say happy birthday. Church details Egan's role in abuse cases. Now I'm on my pedophile stories.
Okay.
Because I still have a few. Church details Egan's role in abuse case. This is from May 14 in New York. Cardinal Edward Egan, when he was bishop of the Bridgeport Diocese, allowed a priest once sent to a psychiatric institution for serious sexual misconduct, allowed that guy to continue functioning as a priest, according to a statement Tuesday by the New York Archdiocese. Egan's handling of alleged misconduct was at the center of a lawsuit filed against the Bridgeport Diocese by Frank Martinelli, who alleged he was molested by Father Brett. I guess that's the guy, as a teenager. Marley alleged that when Brett was his teacher, the priest sexually assaulted him and bit his penis.
Ugh.
In his deposition, Egan was asked if he believed that a teacher assaulting and biting a student's penis would be sufficient cause to suspend a priest.
And?
Quote, I have to know all the details.
That's as many things as I
Man.
Continuing on, he said, the suggestion is so strange I would want to know more about it. So apparently, by itself, biting a student's penis is not sufficient ground. You would need to know more.
Man. Well, yeah, Paul gave me this note earlier. He says, it's Catholic canon law that higher-ups can and often should avoid pushing misbehaving clergy if the publicity resulting would tend to make people lose their faith. So it's not, their first priority is really to keep people in the faith. That's it.
Uh-huh.
We did the Donnie Stokes story, right? Guy shot the priest. That's very unfortunate. Also, here's another unfortunate one. Priest accused of sexual abuse commits suicide. This has been all over this too. A priest in a Catholic mental health facility killed himself. They didn't say how. I doubt he bit off his own penis.
Probably hung himself.
And that's my very tasteful thing of the week. I always have. Thank you, Paul. You taught me.
I like what he said. I saw what you said earlier in the chat room about what the choir ought to be singing. Copula.
Okay. From Leo Minster, Massachusetts, on May 16, former Roman Catholic priest Robert Kelly charged with raping a girl during a 6-year span in the 1980s, beginning when the child was just 4 years old.
Ooh.
And that's the week in Catholic, in religious pedophilia stories, because it wasn't just Catholics this time.
No.
We also had the insane cultists
in Georgia.
In Georgia, the Nuwaubians,
who were transporting children across state lines in order to have films of little girls and boys doing the nasty.
Wow. What a crummy downer show this has been. I'm sorry, folks. This is the news. We're not making this stuff up.
Yeah.
We don't make stuff up. We're the non-profits here. If you've enjoyed our show and would like to receive emails reminding you to tune in each week and chat with other listeners between the show, you can join the reminder list by going to groups.yahoo.com/group/atheist_non-prophets radio show. Though I didn't get a reminder this week, and I know Wendy was to get somebody to replace her.
To replace her on doing the list.
Have you got anybody yet?
I don't think so.
I had myself removed from that list because I don't need the reminder.
Yeah, we don't need them. Unfortunately, most of the people on the list.
Well, if she needs me to, I can take it over. I can take that over.
No, you're going to be secretary of the ACA. Responsibility.
Well, that's all right.
Anyway, thank you, Wendy, for setting it up.
Yeah, that was awesome.
As long as you have. If you enjoy listening to our show, remember we air live every Saturday from 2 to 3:30 Central Time, and if you want and listen to us live, you can go to www.atheistnetwork.com and click on the chat link, and there's a chat room that runs in parallel with the show where folks that are listening to what we say are chatting about it and participate in that, and often we interact with what's going on over there. Okay. Now what do we got?
Oh, one other thing on the choir issue.
Yeah.
Maybe really what it comes down to is just it's just with the Paul's point, as specious as it was, or maybe it wasn't, but about them singing copula. I mean, it's funny to think about, not that anybody wants to condone cop killing, but maybe Ice-T does, I don't know. But anyway, now even he I don't think does. But the issue is really freedom of speech. And, if we start telling kids, well, you can sing Kumbaya, but you can't sing the Lord's Prayer, where do we draw the line? I mean, I'm also looking at it from the perspective of somebody in high school in band who had to sit through and suffer through the prayer football game, every single game. And I used to think, even if I told somebody, they're not going to do anything about it. They're not going to stop doing it.
Depends who you tell. Tell the ACLU.
Yeah. Well, I wish I'd known that then.
Okay.
But anyway, too late. But whatever. I mean, I just think that, that's really what the choral issue comes down to, maybe, is that it is music, and do we really want to start censoring any type of performance? Except,
wait a minute.
Well,
we're not talking. It is not censorship to leave religious instruction out of our public schools.
Right.
That is not censorship.
Right. No, I don't mean it that way. But what I mean is, what's the difference really between the sound of music and, the Lord's Prayer?
I see no difference, but I'm a hardliner. I think there's plenty of entirely secular music out there.
Your point was that it's mandatory, right?
Uh-huh.
What if, it was a chorus class and they had something in the class that said, "Warnings, class will contain music that has religious lyrics. If you don't want it, then you don't need to be in this class."
Then that's clearly less of a problem.
Okay.
Do they offer other classes where that warning?
I've never heard of chorus being a requirement for anything, pretty much, in school.
Apparently, it countered here. I don't know. Maybe there was just no alternative.
Well, no, you're talking about
in the news
ceremony,
story.
right?
In the news story we were talking about.
And it was assembly.
Assembly with us.
Graduation.
Which is different.
But the judge ruled they cannot even practice it. Not practice the song. Which would be in the class part, right?
Yeah.
Look, I'm sorry. I don't see a whole lot of difference between saying some of the founding fathers were Christians, therefore this is a Christian nation, right? Or we have in God we trust on our money, therefore this Christian nation, and saying a lot of old music is religious, therefore we have to have religion in our music classes.
Yeah.
I don't think that necessarily follows. And it seems to me the same way that we tell churches, look, if you want to teach your children religious things, do it in your frickin' church. Right? If we want to teach children religious music, do it in your frickin' church. Yes, Paul.
I think this has got to be one of those things where reasonable people have to make reasonable judgments, that there's not going to be an easy line. But, if you're in a choral class and you're learning to sing, you need to be able to sing things like Yea, So White Man's Desiring. You've got to be able to sing Bach to be a singer in this society. And, damn, he was a Lutheran organ master, but there are no
songs where you can learn how to sing
Bach
except one where
the canonical, so to speak, counterpoint. Bach is the exemplar of how to write counterpoint, and if you don't study Bach, you're not a classical musician. But I don't think you should be singing religious songs at assemblies, because there is plenty of music you can use at assemblies.
Not even Handel's Messiah?
Not even Handel's Messiah.
I don't see any reason to do that.
I mean, hey, you do Pomp and Circumstance. Everything else, just, play rock and roll.
I remember Denis suggesting that one of the greatest pieces of assembly music ever written has been completely destroyed for that purpose, because the meme of that music carries with it the words and the title of the song, which is "Behold, Lord High Executioner."
Oh, great.
That is an awesome song. That is, if you just put it as an instrumental arrangement.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to our show. We are here every week, as I just said. Thanks to Atheist Network for allowing us to go out over the wires. We're going to leave you with this song by a garage band named King Tammy. This song was recorded 14 years ago by these three kids in their college dorm room. It's the Jesus Rap.
School bands ought to do more King Tammy.